Salida, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the review of Poesie, Friedrichs Geschichte by Samsas Traum from Sounds German. Samsas Traum have been around for 20 years now, and I would consider the band around Alexander Kaschte to be a staple of this corner of German music. And before his latest album, which was titled Poesie, Friedrichs Geschichte, he already had quite a few songs with heavy topics under his belt. This whole album might, however, cover the heaviest topic yet: following a kid through his life in the Third Reich, ending with his death due to being considered mentally ill. The instrumental intro called Es ist der Tod definitely sounds like a Samsas Traum song, with pompous horns and military-like drums before electric guitars set in and the drums change accordingly. What struck me as a bit odd right away was the way how pompous it sounded. That isn't really fitting for the story of a child who had to suffer under the Third Reich, in my opinion. Sauber basically explains the procedure of the Third Reich regarding mentally ill and other quote unquote abnormal people. Followed by Und ich schrieb Gedichte is the first track actually about Friedrich himself, describing his deformities and how he is perceived by others. From then on, the tracks explore his time in a camp, how he gets treated there by various different people, and it leads up to the day where he is finally being executed. All of this is presented music wise with the typical Samsas Traum mixture, a rather simple kind of dark metal rock with a good portion of synths and Kashta's clear vocals, which get enhanced by slight distortions here and there. It's by far not the worst Kashta has ever delivered. And here and there, he even managed to create parts for his melodies which are accordingly disturbing for, such a grotesque topic. These moments are rare, but they really shine in the instrumental versions of each track you can find on the second disc of the album. However, the heel of the album is the rest. As I said before, this kind of story is a really heavy, grim topic, and I can't shake the feeling Samsas Traum is actually not properly equipped to deal with it accordingly. The album is nowhere near explicit enough to leave a shocking or even disgusted impression for the very most of it, and occasionally interspersed dirty words like piss or fuck or yelling Heil Hitler in the background, that doesn't really change that. Referencing children's rhymes a few times in the beginning of the album was, however, a very interesting idea, but ultimately, this interesting idea feels undercooked because it was done so sparsely. I would have really wished for this kind of become a theme throughout the whole album where children's rhymes are sort of perverted in these really sick doctrines. And this leads to that these parts in the end feel like a bit of a foreign body in the whole of the album. And an album with such a dark and heavy topic, I feel like it should cause some kind of emotional reaction in me. In fact, there was an album with a very similar topic that did this. It's called 39 Jahre für den Leierkastenmann by an Austrian band called Angizia. Ultimately, the album is not bad, but it also feels like it's lacking what it's needed to represent such a topic adequately. And to be honest, I don't think Samsas Traum, at least at this point in time, have what it takes to cover a topic like this adequately. I also wouldn't be surprised if some politically left extremist asshole would want to accuse Kashta of being a Holocaust excuser or something along the lines because of the track Gorgas. For those in the dark, Gorgas was a doctor in a killing camp for the Third Reich. This song basically paints him ridiculing the system for making it possible to survive the war, even though he murdered thousands. And I will admit, I found the topical choice for this track rather curious. It seems contrary to the rest of it, which seems hell-bent on showing, how cruel and how perverse this whole thing was. And Gorgas kinda seems to alleviate it a bit. I really I can't represent it adequately. It's such a strange choice. Now, to come to the conclusion here, Poesie, Friedrichs Geschichte is not a bad album, not at all. And if you like the music of Samsas Traum, you will certainly find a lot to enjoy here. Uh, but if you look at the topic at hand, I can't really recommend it. But I also can't slam it either. It's not a bad album. As I said, it does music-wise everything right, but it just doesn't do the topic it handles justice, I feel. I also do think a different instrumentalization would be fitting, diverging from the usual paths Samsas Traum have tread so far. And Samsas Traum definitely has made better music in the past. Albums that feel like they treat their topic with the needed respect, and I would recommend definitely listening to those instead. Friedrichs Geschichte has a very interesting premise, a very interesting topic, but I can't help to feel it doesn't represent it very well at all in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. If you liked this review, please feel free to click on the like button. If you didn't, please feel free to click on the dislike button, and I'll see you next time. Salida.